the data center thing is a new thing, right? We don't really understand all of the details, even enough to know which questions to ask. But if I told you that they got a property tax abatement for usually around 10 years, right as soon as they build it, on obviously the taxes they would pay on the property, and a sales tax abatement, and that's on all the machinery and all the things inside of the data center that they need to make this work. They don't pay taxes on most of that for a very long time. And you say, well, after that, the investment's going to pay off, right? It's those taxes are going to kick in and we're going to be doing great. Not necessarily. Usually about year 9, I'm finding, they actually come back to the government and say, hey, if you don't give me a tax abatement, I'm going to pick up and take my toys and play someplace else. So they usually work out a deal and they offer them another break on their taxes. It's insanity. What I'm finding is that the residents really aren't getting any real true benefits short of the small crumbs of taxes that they're going to offer the community. And I say that because some of these big companies, you know, like that one that has the giant letter for a company logo, the type of taxes that they're talking about paying is literally a drop in the bucket for them. It's like the equivalent of, say, a nickel. Is that fair? Should residents really have to give up living in rural Monrovia in order to give this mega industry a break on their taxes? And you say, oh, well, hey, Brandy, they're going to bring jobs to town. No, they're not. Those construction jobs, those folks they work on these projects all over the country. They're going to move into town. They're going to build this data center. They're going to pack up and they're going to move on to the next one. And they're going to continue to do that. Those jobs aren't staying here. And we, okay, but what about the people working inside, right? There's going to be people working inside. That's what people say. No, that's not true either. There's not many jobs that are actually on site in the facility. So a lot of these people won't be living in our community. They won't be our neighbors. They won't be investing back into communities. They won't be buying houses because a lot of them are remote and they can actually live in a different state completely. So that one's out, right? It's sad that SB 1, Senate Bill 1, was passed by Braun, and that cut property taxes for Hoosiers, right? But it's sad that it's put these counties in a position to where they are desperate for any little bit of tax money that they can get. And places like this data center, is a lot of money for rural Monrovia. It is. It's a lot of money, especially when they're expecting such a shortfall from the property tax relief. Because let's face it, that's only being shifted from the state level down to the county level. So now the counties and the townships and the smaller government's going to have to pick up the burden and the shortfall that the property taxes from the state used to help with. That's sending our counties and our local government scrambling. If you don't believe me, tune in or go to these meetings. Ask and listen to all of these government folks say that, no, we do not have a plan. We are working on it. We're thinking about it right now. We're talking to folks. They do not have a plan. They did not put a plan in place, even though those folks knew what Braun was proposing while this was going through. They voted for it anyway without a plan. And that's going to put our schools and fire departments and our EMS, all of that's going to be at risk of being shorted. So yeah, they're desperate to get these data centers. They're desperate to take whatever revenue can come. And residents of Monrovia, and I think Franklin Township is the latest one that's being proposed. The difference there is Franklin Township hasn't been approved yet. The one in Monrovia has been approved. So the one in Franklin Township has, and others that are proposed, and there are 30 that are proposed to come. So if you don't think the one in Monrovia affects you, go look at your nearest cornfield in your neighborhood if you live out here. The nearest cornfield in the county roads that you drive, they're looking at it too. Because if the Hoosiers will lay down and not put up a fight and let them come and give a few crumbs of taxes to them, it's crumbs to them, it's a lot of money to these small towns. If Hoosiers will allow them to come into our neighborhoods and we will quietly and meekly roll over, then they will send more. They will send more. There'll be more here. And people give me the argument, well, hey, Brandy, that phone that you're recording on, you use that cloud for storage. I do. And you know what? That infrastructure is already there. A lot of these data centers are due to AI, the advancement of AI. And it's a very, very new problem that we find ourselves in, and we're not really sure how to go about doing this in a organized fashion. And we really need to think about, before we put these companies in place and offer them tax abatement after tax abatement after tax abatement, we need to figure out what's going on with the electricity. How are they going to work that out? What's going on with the water use? Because each one uses something a little bit different. On the water, there's 3 different types of cooling systems that they use, and there are 3 different levels of water that goes through them. The average one uses 5 million gallons of water a day. And people will say, oh, well, it's used to cool the machines and it just rotates around and rotates around. It pretty much stays in there. That's not true. It actually doesn't, depending on which system. There are different levels of usage, but the more expensive systems actually, they're more expensive to not use as much water. So it doesn't really behoove them to do the more expensive option. So we need to think about these things and confront these problems before they come to town, and before we have to deal with the noise complaints, and before we invite all this construction crews into our neighborhoods. It really needs to be considered. And if you love Indiana, if you appreciate our rural cornfields and soybean fields, you need to speak up. You need to pay attention, and you need to learn as much as you can about this, because let me tell you, every single voice is going to matter. Every single voice. So please, please, please join the fight. I will be sharing some links and some, hopefully some podcasts here soon that you can learn some more information. I'm still learning myself. Don't pretend to know even a fraction of it, but I have been speaking to Bryce, that's mentioned in this article. I'm going to mess up his last name. I'm sorry, Bryce. Bryce Gustafson. He's had 2 very, very, very long conversations with me, and has been tremendously helpful trying to help me learn all of this information and digest it. But there's a lot of harm that this can bring to our community, and we really, 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 really need this. This is not partisan. This is the most nonpartisan thing that we can come together on, and there's virtually no one that's for this. No one. And to the 2 community members that brought, I won't name you because I don't know if you want the public attention, and I apologize to the 2 that I did name, but you're in the newspaper article, so you already got it. But the 2 folks that did bring the lawsuit, we truly appreciate that you put your money and your efforts to what really matters, and hopefully we can actually affect change and stop them from just taking over and coming into our communities and offering us little to nothing in return. What do we get out of it? For all the trouble, what do we get? I can't really find any positives. Is AI really worth it? I don't know.